All right, everybody, here we are. Abdul's asking, what about the KGB notes? I am going to do that. I need to do that too. But every Wednesday, this show is happening. Every Thursday, we have, put that mic right in front of my face. We have the over 1,000 graduates. Okay, so let's get into it. We've done some things. We've released, this is very important for the under 1,000 show. We've released the tests for under 1,500. And so that's now a part of both the training program and just a cool thing that's out there for you to do. We have also made a big jadoob with the ratings of those tests. Long story short, there was a lot of people who were coming in and then just maybe checking the test out and then checking themselves out after a minute or two. And that gave really low scores, which really hurt our curve, really our line, our linear regression line. We fixed that, and now it looks a lot better. So for example, let's go tests, tactics tests. This test here, which I have it was my first test that I designed, and I made some mistakes with it. But in any case, you can see the new line. This is the test with the most data that we have. The new line now goes all the way up here, and it makes sense that if you do get a perfect score, you are crushing it, right? Some of these problems harder than others. This is Chess Latte's problem that he created. The newer tests, I feel, I was a test creator. There's a learning curve for myself as well. In any case, that's what this bad boy looks like. And then, of course, if you score a 0, it makes sense that your rating should be 682. Makes sense. Okay, let's go back to the news feed. Pop. And we don't have, the last 2 graduation shows haven't been too extraordinarily long. And this one isn't either. So today and tomorrow, we only have 18, so about 9, which is great. That gives it a little bit of, like I say, a luxurious stream where I don't feel stressed about finishing the show or anything like that. Abdul, congratulations on finishing your final test, boss. All right, here we go. This is going to be Pandorax. And Pandorax says, love letter to the dojo. This structure really makes me feel like I learned the right way. Please keep up the good work. You guys build up a lovely community of improvers. Great. We've been working hard, dude. We've been working hard. And that's a lot of hard work there, too, with 71 points to get to the next level. So that's the kind of work I really like. Aus Deutschland. Give a little Folgen and nice. Okay. So it's funny, back, I did my business in Germany, my Magister and my Doctorat. And of course, they didn't have no bachelors back then. So it's kind of stunning for me, man, that they adopted the Anglo system. I guess it made sense. You had people in that German system, dude. And because, the first degree you could get was a Magister or a Master's, you had people in there for 8-9 years doing that thing, dude. So bachelors in the United States, we even have a thing called the associates. Makes sense. Not everybody needs some massive degree, Okay, beautiful progress over here. Let's look at we got some tactics ratings. Now, one of the things, we just released it, and so very soon the next tactics test will be placed here. And this all looks pretty consonant. So 804. We should expect that it'll be really interesting to see what this person's Pandorax's rating will be from the tactics tests too. They're making great progress over here. Okay, clubs. German, okay. Activity, as I said, really nice, really good breakdown as well. Okay, so we expect to see a game here. So this is recent. Ein Rattenfänger. Here we go, the smart boy. All right, so 30-minute game. And notice, thank you, Jack, we changed the colors to make it really obvious what the white and the black was. Before, I believe it was yellow, and yellow and blue, do we really know instantly? Does our mind know? Maybe not. I didn't anyways. And so this just makes it so much cleaner for my mind to know which one is white and which one is black. Something I really like to see with dojo games is when we use our time and our opponent doesn't. And the point is to get better at it, to learn how to take time, and to realize that when these chumps were playing online, they might be much more talented than we are, but they don't know, they're not able to think. And it's hard to, not only to think, but then also to think in front of the computer. I don't think it's easy to think, at least for an old guy like me. It's not easy to think in front of the computer. Okay, so here we go. Okay, good, poor. Now, you're going to get a lot of this at this level. People are going to give you time. Notice that the queen will eventually get smacked by a rook now, and it's in the way of the natural development of the e-pawn. So good move. Another tempo. It's better than the tempo. It's a piece, spouse. It's a piece. Yeah. Now, I definitely would encourage you to say that once you win a piece, that's an example of a winning advantage, not an example of a clear advantage, which is what that symbol means. Good move. Cheap tricks, good move. Knight e2. Let me just show you a quick, your move is fine, but this move is pretty cool too. Okay. 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 Knight d2. It feels much safer to me to play knight g5 or knight g3. That way you don't ever have to even think about that bishop on h3 messing with you. Okay. He's not doing anything. So they're not developing the pieces. Okay, we're just going to trade some stuff. Looking good. Doesn't do anything. Okay. Checkmate! Yeah, buddy. So, great game. And, this is what we want to see from you right now. You have a mating pattern. You have people hanging pieces. You have someone not taking their time. Look at this person, 24 minutes. And so it's all of the things that we expect your opponents at this level to do, and you took advantage of it. And that's all you have to do again and again and again until you make 1,000. It'll be a little harder next time, of course, but it will be essentially that same process. Did you play over 1,000 this game? Yes. Your opponents will be a little better, though, right? They'll give you, it won't be as free of pieces like the knight d4. And Pandarox is here. It's so cool to have you here in the chat. Okay. So, well done. Ooh, and I have to remember to mark that it's reviewed. And cool, let's move on. This is Eric Z. Eric Z, I remember, has graduated before. Let's see if they got a tactics rating. They do. And again, I think maybe within the day we'll have this next tactics test rating up here. So it's a component of 4 different things, which gives you your tactics rating. That looks good. So, also really cool that you're using USCF here. So the over-the-board rating. It's the downside of the OTB is you're just going to be playing less games than you're playing online. So you're not going to get that instant gratification. But it is going to be, you're not going to face, like in the last, when we looked at with Pandarox, you're playing over the board, you're not going to get somebody that's just blitzing out their moves, probably distracted on the internet. You're going to be sitting there, there's going to be some deep thinking, and that'll be helpful for you as well, in addition to having stronger competition. Okay, so this is beautiful progress. Looks like dude is ready almost to go up to the next level too. So we'll look at some clubs. New Hampshire, I had a feeling. A friend of mine, Josh Friedel, best player out of New Hampshire activity. So 119. Now, actually what we want to do is I want to just look at the 6 to 7. Looks like a lot of tactics. Let's see how they did. Okay, good. Yeah, a lot of tactics. Okay, so now we're gonna go games. And this looks like a in real life game. So 45-5 OTB. Let's do this before we forget. We don't have the clocks. So it's cool to put the times in. It means, of course, that you are writing the times on your score sheet. I think especially at this level, a lot of people will rebel and they'll be like, well, it's too much of a hassle for me to write the times on the score sheet. But honestly, something like that will slow you down. Anything to slow the process down will help and you're over the board. So Eric is here basing my dojo rating on USCF. I've been too busy being a TD to stick too close to the program. Okay. Sombrero's here. Nice. And Eric, one over the board game a week. Fantastic. And just started writing times down is what he said. So that's great. Okay. So let's get into it. Okay. Okay. This is famous. As is my tendency to focus too much on defense, I protect the central pawn and develop the bishop, but also stops white's e-pawn from advancing. Okay. So I think you're doing fine. This is a theoretical variation, but as long as you develop your pieces, you will be okay. You will be okay. So d4, bishop e7. Now, one fun thing about this position is it would be nice if white could prevent us from castling with the move queen g3, because if we castled, we'd have bishop h6. However, on queen g3, we have the nasty pin. So I think we're doing okay. Bishop d3, queen d7. I don't recall my thoughts on this during the game, since I want to take out white's light square bishop. So you want to play this. I wanted the queen to cover white's one flight square on the queen side. I think I was considering knight c6 castles long. Okay. Well, it's growing on me. I kind of thought you were going to castle, but knight c6 castles long. You're developing your stuff. Okay, now that move I don't like. Why? It's not developing. If you have a plan to do this and this, do it. Do it. Get them people out. With g6, you're wasting time. And now he maybe could make a little drama for you. Castles. Okay. Knight f4. Bishop f5. So you're obsessed with this. And this is both a tactical mistake and a strategic mistake. Okay? Because it's important to see that with bishop f5, you are losing a tempo. And then the big tactical mistake is you're hanging this pawn. Now, the simple way for white to play this would be to take with a queen. Taking with a knight might also be possible. It's a little more, it's probably fine. So, castles. And now your opponent does you a favor by playing knight e7. If they take here, you're gonna lose you're gonna get the damaged pawns, and this is probably gonna end up falling. So this way, you are able to protect your bishop. You are still in big trouble though. Rook b1 and now queen c6. You say queen d5. In the postmortem, Greg and I figured this would have been a stronger play for black. Okay, I think you're in big trouble either way, but your opponent now does something where sometimes we call it they're cashing out with bishop f5. Now you're in big trouble anyway. You're in big trouble anyway. Bishop g5, queen c6, and then the problem with this move. And by the way, I know I know it's bad, but he at least on GF has to find this move, bishop G5, and then he's going to win that pawn anyway. But notice that I feel my chances of a draw are good. I survived the initial attack only down a pawn, but he's going to be up another pawn, see? And your knight is not good. Notice how the knight is dominated by these pawns. So what I want you to see is that the denouement, if you will, had everything to do with not developing. Okay, so the moves were G6, bishop F5, right? G6 and bishop F5 were the moves that hurt you. All right, let's see if he gives you a chance. Maybe he's probably okay. I see some other, I think I would like bishop H6 or bishop G5 better. And here we need to at least dream about getting the knight to this square. So like maybe knight A5. Tal calls that the trampoline square. You know, the knight's trampolining off the side of the board. I take it back, though. It's a miserable move. It's a right idea, but it's a miserable move because of the tactic E6. And we're getting ripped open. Simple chess. Okay. I don't understand this move. Okay. Okay. Good move. Okay, let me show you something. Rook F7, in principle, okay. Maybe it doesn't make too much of a difference. All right, let's just say maybe it doesn't make good. Now, it's very important to see you've split their pawns. So white is still significantly better, but they've definitely given you some chances. C3 isn't it. Now, you went in for it. Now, the problem with this is white would like to play E6, E7, and then rook F8. So when I see your plan of trying to win the pawn, I don't know how you're going to defend against that evil plan. It's a very cruel and evil plan. So either knight E6, trying to blockade the pawn, or knight C6, trying to win it. And you'd have to calculate, for example, this variation. It feels still like you're in big trouble here because, well, the guy's got more stuff. You might be in trouble anyway, though. Okay, poor move. So this is winning, and white should be more accurate. And let's go here. That way there's no check. So E6 and then E7 and rook F8, and it's goodbye to the coconuts. It's goodbye to the coconut. Well, maybe it's not so simple, Kraai. Maybe it's not so simple. See, maybe even here it's not so simple. Okay, good. So I take all the things back I was saying. Okay, that's poor. And you're going to goblin. Going to goblin. I think maybe safer. Well, I don't know. King D7 is another move. Now maybe bishop E7 was better for white. If we win this pawn, he runs the H pawn. We get a little race going on. Notice that he probably is going to play E7 anyway, and then we'll just play King D7. So we would maybe A5 instead. Okay, it's getting hot. Let's go. Oh, it's getting hot. That's a mistake. There we go, buddy. That wasn't it. And now you're winning. Oh, you're doing so well. There we go. It's so nice. Knight D4. Dang. Dang. So let me just say that was a really well-played game. Yeah. What are we talking about here? You played developing moves, and you got in trouble because you didn't develop. But that kind of lack of development, that's an over 1,000 mistake. That's an over 1,000 mistake. And you burned him with the knight. That can happen to anyone. So both players, I feel, played a game well above the cohort level, right? Okay. Well, Nose, I think for this level, we're talking about an under 1,000 game. That was a great game, dude. Yeah. All right, so here we go. That was Eric, Z, and NH. Also cool that you're doing it, being a TD. That's also fun. Okay, so now we got Keith B, who's graduated numerous times. I'm switching over to Lichess because most of my losses on Chess.com are from running out of time or blundering because I'm low on time. My brain just isn't quite ready for blitzing out chess moves. Yeah, it's a problem with Chess.com is that they're kind of pushing everybody to go faster. So, like there's no classical rating. There's just like a rapid rating, and I think 10-minute counts for that. So it's a real problem. Anyways, you can play longer games on Chess.com though. I played over 20 games on Lichess, and I think my rating is a little inflated. I'm just going to knock out the next cohort's task by playing Lichess 3020 and see where that takes me. I joined the Lichess 45, and I'm going to join the Dojo League once that opens for registration. We're getting that thing moving, by the way. It's really moving, which will allow me to play and analyze some longer time control games. The journey so far over the last 3 months has been great, and I have met some really nice people. 3.0 is pretty awesome, by the way, and I'm excited for the tactics tests to come out. They're out! They're out for the under 1,500 crew, so that's cool. Okay, so in Philly, but has his own rules. Yeah, okay. At least you're getting them to play. My kids ain't playing. My kids ain't playing. So this is confusing. Well, yeah. So you're feeling like you're. Let's see what's going on here. So yeah, you got really 2 different ratings here, don't you? I don't know. Something's going on. Okay. And then your tactics is saying you're somewhere around 940. The tactics tests, by the way, will really dial it in. The average of those 4, I would say, will really dial in what your tactics level is. Okay, so this is looking good. It's confusing to me, the disparity between these two. But I understand why you did it, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. Weird. Okay, here we go. Clubs. Chess steps. We got all. Let's go Philly. All right, looking good. Activity. Lots of activity. We're going to look what happened here. 73 hours. 73 hours is some good work. And that's a good macro distribution right there. And we're going to go games. Von Bardeleben, that's a cool name. So Von Bardeleben was the victim of a famous Steinitz game that I believe is one of the games to memorize it's definitely in the Master Games database. So anyways, let's check it out. Mark it as reviewed, and we'll take a look at the time. And it looks like both are guilty of playing a little too fast here. Maybe I can look at the time control. So it's 30 plus 20. Yeah, both sides moving too fast. So far so good. Fine. A3. Bishop takes is fine. So fascinating position. And what we have here is white lost time by playing a3, but in return is claiming that their bishop is strong and that this pawn will be useful in the center. Castle's good. e3. b6. You can do a variety of things. c5, but b6 makes sense to me. So you're dealing with somebody who does not care about their development. And I like this comment. I didn't want this little pawn daring down my eastern front. Okay, when you are ahead in time, I strongly encourage you to try to gain more time. So the moves bishop a6 and knight c6 both come to mind, right? With the move a5, which you played how fast? Very quickly, okay? That's what we could call a reactive move, right? You're just seeing this a4 thing and you're going, oh, damn, he's got me. So then you're moving. In fact, he doesn't have anybody. He doesn't got nobody. And a4, definitely a mistake. It's too slow. And, you know, you can start working to really mess with him with bishop a6 followed by knight c6, a5. Bishop a3, c5. Okay. More importantly than weakening the center, he's not developing, right? Now, one thing about this is it's not terrible, but we are letting white develop by taking. It's true, though. We get a tempo back. And now we need a good move. Let's see what you did. Queen c8. Okay, I understand. Good. All right. You're making good moves. Good move. Oh, let's play c4. So the problem with queen c2 is that then you could play cd and your queen would open up. All right, now you play queen c6, which maybe, actually, maybe. Yeah, I was thinking c4, but your move is also, actually, your move is probably stronger. Yeah, it looks great. And you said thank you very much for the coconut? c4, looks good. Rook b7, double excellent. I'm going to say no way. No, how can it be brilliant? He just sacked his queen. I don't know whether this is a blunder or brilliant. I'm going to call it brilliant because it turned out to be a clever plan. Boss, his queen's hanging. Okay. Now, he lost his queen. Now, it is true that we do not want to allow this rook in here. And so in our analysis here, we want to take a moment, okay? So the move f6, for example, it's over. The party is over. There's no rooks coming to talk to me. It's true, when you take this thing, now there's some fear. You are still winning this, but there's some fear. Good move. I would have preferred rook f8 immediately, because here he could have at least tried king g3, but you're winning that too. Bam! So it was not a brilliant move. What did your opponent do? He gave you his coconuts. What did you do? You took his coconuts. Goodbye. Goodbye. Yeah, and Nose is pointing out about playing too quickly. Notice you're completely in charge. You're completely in charge. Imagine saying to yourself, okay, I'm going to really, it looks like I'm winning. Let's take 5 minutes here. Let's take 5 minutes. It's fine. We'll take 5 minutes just to make sure we're not missing anything. Queen a3 probably is winning too. It's just giving me a little bit of a heart attack with the rook ff7. And again, I want to stress, it's like a physical thing with the clock. People are like having anxiety, and it's like it's hard to not move. It's because you got to you check yourself, and you got to slow down and all this other stuff. Okay. Correctamundo knows. Correctamundo. Okay, great though. That was lovely. And Keith B is flying up. Flying up. All right, next up we have Brother Theodore. And Brother Theodore says, I've only been a part of the program for several days now, so I cannot necessarily attribute the course specifically to my graduation. I just had let my rating drop by playing poorly the last few weeks, and I'm now back up to my usual rating, but I am excited for the next cohort. Great. All right, let's take a look. Welcome to the dojo, by the way. 8:27, great. 8:24, done the test. By the way, everybody, I'll say it again. We have the new tests out today. This new component will maybe, whether today or in the next couple of days, will start showing up right there for you. Okay, and that looks great. Pretty consonant there with the ratings. All right, here we go. Clubs. No clubs. Activity. And they've just started, done some 7 hours. Fine. That looks good. Looks good. Let's see if they got a game. They got one. Maybe it looks kind of OTB. Maybe not. So, we'll mark it as reviewed. We'll look at the times. Holy moly. There's some crimes going on here, my friends. Now, it's possible that Brother Theodore is so winning by this point. Look at what happened with Brother Theodore. Brother Theodore. So we can say, Brother Theodore, that we have diagnosed your primary problem, my friend. And it is you are moving too fast. So this is a 30-30. You get 30 seconds, and you used on average maybe 5 seconds to move. That's why your time is going up. Dude, you started with 30 and you got 36 at one point. Then you thought for some reason here. And then you were like, no, I'm done thinking. This is a very common problem. It is possible to fix. Going over your games will be one of the cleanest ways to fix that problem. Okay, here we go. A little weird, okay. Now you're hanging a pawn. If you slowed it down, you probably aren't going to hang a pawn. Okay. Good. 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 Good moves. All right, so you're down a pawn. H5. Now, what are we doing? Being a pawn down exposed, I decided to create some sort of counterplay. Develop your pieces, Bows. Bring them out. Bishop b4, bishop c5, bishop e7, bishop d6. Something. They got to start moving. No one knows, and now you're just opening all this up. Slow down. Slow down. Not only that, but like white is committed a minor crime here with bishop b2, and we got to talk at least about that. There's something to talk about, my friends. We could imagine the following variation. Rook b1, bishop b4. Oh, now we're threatening this coconut. Now we're threatening this coconut. Not so easy. Here, bam, bam. Oh, no, we got him. These are the kinds of things we find when we slow it down. When you decide that a move is poor, think about what you should do instead. Weird. I mean, just absolutely, absolutely bizarre. Oh, well, white can play knight b5 and fork your rookskis. Okay. He's just hanging his stuff, dude. Okay, so this is move 20. So you guys thought for half. Let's just go to the move where you thought for a second. So that's move 16. Move 16 here. So that's the one you thought on, I guess. Or maybe you were out on the potty. Right? So your opponent's also playing super fast, blunders this knight. And now you're winning. You trade it down. Get yourself a little pass ball. Oh, look at that. Slow it down. You will find these things. This was also not good. You want your C pawn is, well, okay, I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to complain about that. I complain about a lot of things. It's true. I do. I like that. That phase of it was well played. King C3 looked stronger, but okay, you're killing this person. Very well. The finish was fine. So, Brother Theodore, welcome to the dojo. One of the things we see if you watch this show too is you'll see that the players who are coming up in the dojo, they're using more time than their opponents. And so if you can fix this problem, the rating gains are just all there for you. They're all there. Because you played that end game not so bad. Okay, great. Now we have Aburg. We got 2 more to go. Aburg says, really enjoyed How to Beat Your Dad at Chess, and I've been noticing mate potentials more and more in games. My goal in the next cohort is to continue going more in depth with annotations and continuing to ask myself what my opponent's plans are. I have a feeling progress will be starting to slow down, but I'm looking forward to absorbing everything I can. Playing in my first full-length classical tournament this weekend, and can't wait to see the lessons that can be learned. Oh, great. This is beautiful. That's a beautiful music to my ears. Nursing professor and ER nurse, just starting to take chess seriously after finishing my doctoral degree. Pifflesticks. It's Pifflestick's fault. Okay. So we got to check up on Pifflesticks too, man. I want to see his journey. Actually, so remind me, and we'll do that after the show's over. We'll go check up on Pifflesticks. So first of all, we're going to look at the ratings. We got here an 815. So a little lower. Maybe hasn't done the PR survival, and the tactics tests are now available for you to do. Clubs, New England. All right. And then activity. We're going to go down 1. And that's how they did it. Looks great. Very strong. It's 27 hours of work. In general, let's just say you're flying up now, right? You've graduated a bunch of times. You said it would become harder. At some point it will, At some point it will just be more hours that are required for you to make it to the next level. Let's check out a game, hopefully say something instructive for your big tournament this weekend. I'm going to choose this one just because it looks like an OTB game. Wait a second. Maybe I'll pick another one. That was light annotated. I just want one with a little bit more meat. Okay, let's do this one, a little bit more meat. Matt Chess is talking on this one too, being better at chess as well. All right, so we'll mark it as reviewed. Take a look over here. Good time usage. What? Jack, dude, can we just pause and just admire your handiwork? No other chess site does this. It's so beautiful. Just in a second, I can see a story of the game, right? Yeah. That's okay, Aburg. Aburg is in the chat. Let's take a look at this one. Weird, right? Weird. Bishop E3. Notice what's happening. It's kind of like a little bit like studying openings because somebody showed you something weird and you're like, oh, that's weird. I want to do that. Right? So what would be the standard moves here? Knight here, right? Okay. Weird. Continues. So they're not doing principled moves. Good. Good. You could also play D4, Knight C3. I like your move. Knight C3, fine. But your move, you're just playing simple, good chess. Poor. Waste time. Castles or Queen E2 are probably more sound. Absolutely. Well said. Not sure where that knight is going. So actually, when you think about development, and maybe you do have a notion to play Knight A5, actually. Maybe I should shut up. But when you think about development, it's going to be how can I improve my pieces, right? And on B3, it's not clear it's significantly better than on D2. But you do have an idea, so I'm shutting up here. Castles, Bishop E7, C4, okay. Pop, A4. Okay. Weird, right? B3. So you're saying it's a mistake. We should take the pawn, right? That's a free pawn. We should say thank you very much. Weird. Anything. Queen c2. Develop the pieces. Activating your rook. You got to say thank you. Okay. It's a little weird. I'm not sure what you're doing. What would be the natural move? The natural move would be queen c2. Okay, so your opponent has no respect for their king. No respect. This one doesn't look right because you're giving him the pawn. And now does d4 almost wins your business. Well, here it would have won your business, right? Okay, so this is the kind of thing where your games in the tournament this weekend will be decided. You'll have a little bit more time, you know. Right, and so these are the basics where the game will be decided. Castles, you say thank you very much. Now the game's totally, who knows what's happening? No one knows about that move. Knight f1, a little weird. Knight c4 seems better. Knight e4 also seems better. Okay, now we got ourselves an endgame. No one knows about that move. Maybe rook b5. Okay, still maybe rook b5. Okay, they figure it out. Rook d7. Okay, so notice something here. Is now you stop annotating, and it's actually the hottest moment. Because, for example, the big question when black takes is he enabling b5? If b5 wins, then black needs to strongly consider this move, okay? So b5, it looks like a hell of a drug to me because we're going to go here, then we're going to go here, and then we're going to go here, and I don't know how black stops that, right? So here's where we need to do some calculation. Good move. Your opponent blew it with rook d8. Okay, good move. b7. Now, this is maybe an inaccuracy, okay, because now when you move the rook, black will have rook b5 and might live. The pawn here, though, is protected. So this move looks much stronger. We're threatening this, and it traps the bishop. Okay, so notice, I'm trying to do the annotations for you, but the point is really not to show you things, but to show you the possibility of analyzing these things in your game, right? So b7 looks good, but actually might not work out. King f8 is a blunder because now rook c1 will come with a check. So then we say, oh, king f6 was correct, right? And then if rook c1, he lives with rook b5. So blunder, good move, good move, good move. King d7, And now rook h8. A clever trick I want you to see is to do it this way. Your move's winning too, Kraai. His move's winning. You just leave him alone. Leave him alone. Yeah, take that pawn on g5. There we go. There, it's simple. It's simple now. That just give me all your. He gives, you take. Simpler might be rook takes d6 followed by bishop f4, but you're doing fine. Okay. Uh-oh, I'm a little worried now. I'm a little worried about the way things are going. Okay, now you got him. Okay, good. Now, king g5 isn't a mistake. He's done. Your pawn is already queening, Aberg. It's already there. It's already there. Okay, so first of all, one thing I'm noticing here is in the endgame, both in your notes and in the game itself, your mind is done, right? It's cooked. And your opponents are going to make horrible blunders in the endgame because they're going to be in the exact same spot. They're going to be tired, and the endgame calculation will just be so foreign to them. By the way, our endgame tests, hopefully maybe this week, they should be up. And we also have tests for under 1,000, which, hey, we did it. So a lot of points can be gained by that, by the endgame, by just saying to yourself, oh, I stopped thinking around here. So did my opponent. And it was time. It was time to start doing some stuff over here. Right. I don't know what he's going to do besides rook g6, though. He's cooked. You're taking all his coconuts. All right, well done. And we have one more here, and that's Figgy. What does Figgy have to say over here? So, 1041, give Figgy a follow. Ireland. So, needs to do his tactics stuff. Joined September of last year. Had a big jump recently. Clubs. Ireland. I wonder how many people we got in Ireland. We need an Irish chess club. Well, we do. There it is right there. Activity. So, 9 to 1,000. 16 hours of work. Okay, let's see if they got a game. We got a game. Here's Figgy. So, I probably forgot to mark some of these as reviewed. I'm not very good at it. So far so good. 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 Fine. Okay. I see what you're doing. That's a mistake. Oh. Okay, now this was a blunder because you could rage him with d4, d5 with a winning position. And you still want to play d4. The point of e3 really is to play d4, so we should do it. Let's do it. Now you got it. Bishop h3. And I think what you mean is queen g4 next. And I love your annotation because you say, not sure about this, opening up space for black's bishop. Okay, so something to understand about this kind of position is that the power of your position comes from the fact that the bishop on b6 and the knight on c6 are really contained by your beautiful center pawn on d4. But that pawn there's a little bit of pressure on there. And so the intuitive thing is to do what you did, just move it. But then his bishop becomes a monster, oh no. So you understood that in your annotations. So we want something else, right? Maybe rook e1, queen d3, something like that. Okay, I think this is good for me. I have no idea. This one is very hard for me to judge. One reason, though, I don't think black can be doing too poorly is all of black's pieces make some sense. In fact, I guess I'd rather be black here, especially since rook a8 can come at some point. Knight b5, snip, snop, snook, snark, and now they play c6. Probably interesting and okay. Boom, 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 boom. And then this is a very nice tactic that you have with knight d5 being met by rook d1. Now, black, though, is doing pretty good and simply needs to start thinking about attacking your king. So, queen g4 suggests itself, e4 suggests itself, rook d8 suggests itself. This, though, is passive. Queen a5, that's interesting. Queen a6, passive. Rook c8 kind of scares me there for you. Okay, rook c8, good move. And now we lost a pawn. All right, and there it is. We have a classic endgame that GMs and chumps alike have faced through the years. And this is great practice. One of our training sparring positions is this kind of 4-on-3 situation. In a practical game, we'll say black has a clear advantage. I think black should have played h5 instead of g6. Ooh, and that's frisky. That's frisky. So now you've created a potential target right here. Okay. Okay. And now you're in big trouble. Well, let's see. You need to play king g3, right? You need to play king g3. Good. Well played by your opponent. Your opponent's kind of flubbing it a little bit. It'd be cool to see the times. I don't understand what's going on. Okay, you're helping him there. Now he's got you. Stalemate? Yeah, we're toast. Okay, so pretty good game. Kind of an introduction to that rook endgame. And what we can say constructively is that the annotations could be a little deeper, and you are missing some tactical stuff, okay? And the big one would be, let's see, it was right over where you could have played d4. I think there was more than one opportunity where right here you can go d4, d5. That's right. Okay, so that's the kind of thing where, you know, you're missing something. And then the d5 one you noticed yourself, and that's honestly, let's call it a higher level mistake. You know, when you can start recognizing that that's a positional mistake, your positional play is really going to be dramatically improved. Okay, so that's it for the moment.